I'd like to talk to you about a powerful concept, how to adapt. Adapting is perhaps the most powerful operative word as you're thinking about industries broadly. And in fact, the ability to adapt is going to be one of the most important skills that every entrepreneur needs to have. I think of it in terms of what I call the adaptive corporation, meaning that many corporations have been leaders in their field. They became successful by learning how to scale, to expand the things that had worked so well, but they became myopic in terms of looking at the change in the landscape. Because in this era where technology is becoming more and more involved in everything that we do, it's usually difficult to understand just how quickly an industry can be disrupted by a new innovative technology. My experience is that innovation takes place on the edge of established industries. And it's usually occurring because some new domain is coming in from the side and it's causing a disruption on the edge of an industry. And that disruption can rapidly accelerate. Take, for example, the photography industry. Kodak for years was the dominant player in innovation in silver halide photography, all based on chemistry, and Kodak was known for hiring the most talented, best students from the best technical universities, but they were chemists. And as Kodak was doubling down on silver halide photography to compete with Walmart, who was making an aggressive move with the single-use camera, Steve Jobs was developing the smartphone, the iPhone, which brought together several different domains. He was looking at the inevitable move of photography to digital as opposed to chemical-based. Well, Kodak, of course, knew that digital was going to be important in technology, but what they missed was that there was another domain that was converging with digital photography, and that was wireless. And the industry was moving from 2G wireless, which meant you could do simple text, to actually being able to send high-quality photos over 3G. So the smartphone came out in 2007 and was able to take advantage of the domain of digital imaging, which was getting better and better thanks to Moore's law, and 3G wireless communications, which meant that photos could be moved from one mobile device to a PC or to another mobile device, and the miniaturization of consumer electronics, as consumer electronics had started to move back in the early 1990s, year by year, going to digital technologies, and it was miniaturizing components, and components were commoditizing and becoming cheaper and cheaper. The iPhone was only possible by 2007 because it included the ability to adapt three different domains: the domain of digital photography, the domain of 3G wireless, and the domain of increasingly commoditizing and miniaturizing consumer electronics. What Steve Jobs did brilliantly was he was able to adapt each of those important domains, extracting from them exactly what he needed to create perhaps the most important new cultural instrument, the smartphone or iPhone in the case of Apple, that we've seen certainly in the beginning of this century. So why did Kodak miss it? Not because they didn't have talented people. It's because it's very easy to become caught up in the immediate needs of being successful in the industry as it's already defined, as opposed to adapting to the rapid changes that can happen as industries go through transitions. And all of this began on the edge of this established industry of photography. Kodak knew that digital photography was going to happen. They just didn't know that it was going to happen at the exact moment that it occurred, and it was really the impact of those other domains and adapting the collision point of those domains that made something like the iPhone be the real innovator for the next era of photography.